The night was electric as viewers tuned in to watch Jimmy Kimmel's latest episode, a show renowned for its lively banter, surprise guests, and humorous moments. Tonight's guest was none other than Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, known for her sharp mind, quick wit, and unfiltered honesty. Jimmy, always one to tease and challenge his guests playfully, seemed eager to test Jasmine's reputation for boldness. From the very moment she walked on stage, radiant in a sleek blue dress and an effortless smile, the audience knew they were in for a show. Jimmy greeted her warmly but with that glint in his eye that suggested he had a few tricks up his sleeve. Jasmine responded with equal enthusiasm, ready for whatever was about to unfold. The banter started light, with jokes about politics, late-night antics, and the ever-chaotic world of Washington, D.C. Jimmy, leaning into his signature style, poked fun at a few recent headlines, some involving Jasmine herself, laughing along with the crowd as he did so. But little did he or the audience know, Jasmine wasn't just there to laugh, or she was ready to steal the show. As Jimmy playfully prodded her about her fiery speeches and viral social media moments, Jasmine maintained her composure, smiling politely but clearly calculating her moment to strike. The audience chuckled as Jimmy joked about her too honest for politics reputation, asking how she managed to stay so authentic in a world that seemed allergic to it. Jasmine laughed along but quipped back smartly, saying, "It's easy when you remember that most people are allergic to the truth." The crowd roared at her comeback, and Jimmy leaned back, clearly impressed but not defeated. He switched tactics, trying to catch her off guard with a more personal question about her early life and what led her into the often messy world of government. Jasmine, ever graceful, began to share her story, speaking about growing up with a strong sense of justice, her experiences as an attorney, and the challenges she faced breaking into a system stacked against young, outspoken women like herself. Her passion was clear, and the audience listened intently, sensing that Jasmine Crockett was more than just a politician, she was a force. Jimmy, seeing an opportunity to lighten the mood, jokingly asked if she had ever wanted to just drop the mic and walk out during a particularly frustrating session in Congress. Jasmine, grinning wide, replied, "Every single day, Jimmy. And sometimes, I do, just not literally." The audience burst into laughter again, clearly enjoying her candor. Sensing he had finally found a rhythm with her, Jimmy decided to push a little harder. He teased about a recent clip where Jasmine had sharply corrected a colleague mid-session, suggesting maybe she could teach a masterclass in verbal takedowns. Jasmine leaned in, smirking, and said, "Only if you sign up, Jimmy." The room erupted into applause and laughter, with Jimmy pretending to be wounded, clutching his heart dramatically. But he wasn't ready to give up. He launched into a mock lesson where he set up pretend political scenarios, challenging Jasmine to respond with her signature sharpness. Little did he know, he was setting the stage for the night's most unforgettable moment. In one particularly bold move, Jimmy proposed a hypothetical situation where Jasmine was confronted with absurd, baseless accusations on live TV. He challenged her, "How would you handle it? Right here, right now?" Without missing a beat, Jasmine crossed her arms, tilted her head slightly, and delivered a savage mock rebuttal that left the audience stunned. "First, Jimmy," she said, "I'd thank them for exposing their ignorance so publicly. Saves me the trouble of having to." The room went silent for a heartbeat before exploding into cheers and laughter. Jimmy was left wide-eyed, dramatically sliding down in his chair as if he had been physically knocked back by the force of her words. Jasmine simply smiled sweetly, looking completely unbothered and utterly victorious. The camera cut briefly to the audience, showing faces of pure shock and admiration. It wasn't just that she was quick, it was how effortlessly she dismantled the setup, leaving no doubt about who truly commanded the room. Trying to recover, Jimmy chuckled and said, okay, remind me never to debate you." Jasmine, ever gracious, leaned over and said, "Only if you value your pride." The crowd roared again, many rising to their feet in a spontaneous standing ovation. Even Jimmy seemed genuinely impressed, clapping along with the audience. The atmosphere shifted slightly after that. There was a sense of awe in the room, a feeling that everyone had just witnessed something rare and special. Jimmy, sensing the moment, eased back and let Jasmine speak more freely about her vision for America, the role of truth in leadership, and why humor and authenticity are such powerful political tools. Her words carried weight, blending wisdom, humor, and sincerity in a way that few could manage. She spoke of the challenges ahead, but also of hope, the belief that, despite everything, change was possible when people refused to be silenced. By now, the audience was hanging on to every word. As the conversation continued, Jimmy asked Jasmine how she stayed resilient in such a tough environment. Jasmine answered honestly, saying that while politics could be exhausting, it was the everyday people she fought for that kept her going. She spoke of letters she received from young girls who said she inspired them to dream bigger, to speak louder, to never let anyone tell them they didn't belong. These heartfelt admissions resonated deeply with the crowd. Jimmy, clearly moved, nodded along, adding that it was refreshing to see someone who didn't treat politics as just a game. Jasmine smiled warmly, acknowledging that the stakes were far too high for games. She said, "At the end of the day, it's not about sound bites. It's about real lives, real futures." This statement, simple yet profound, drew another wave of applause. Jimmy, perhaps realizing he could never truly win against her quick mind and genuine spirit, leaned into the admiration, calling her one of the realest guests we've ever had on this show. The energy in the room had shifted from playful teasing to deep respect. Jimmy, ever the showman, decided to end the segment on a high note. He offered Jasmine a final chance to deliver one more trademark comeback, giving her an open platform. Jasmine, smiling slyly, said, "Jimmy, the best comebacks are saved for those who underestimate you. So tonight, I'll just say, thank you for never underestimating me." It was the perfect mic drop moment. The audience jumped to their feet again, cheering wildly. Jimmy stood too, bowing theatrically to her. It was clear that Jasmine Crockett hadn't just held her own on late-night television, as she had owned it entirely. As the music played and the cameras panned across the cheering audience, Jasmine and Jimmy shared a friendly hug, both laughing, both knowing they had created a truly unforgettable television moment. The respect between them was real, born of genuine admiration for each other's talents and spirit. After the taping, social media exploded with clips of the exchange. Within minutes, hashtags like Jasmine Crockett Savage and Kimmel Comeback were trending worldwide. Fans praised Jasmine's composure, her razor-sharp wit, and her ability to completely own a national platform without breaking a sweat. Even celebrities and fellow politicians weighed in, applauding her for bringing such intelligence and humor to a space often dominated by scripted moments and safe answers. News outlets quickly picked up the story, with headlines celebrating Jasmine's performance as a masterclass in authenticity and charisma. Jimmy himself tweeted later that night, saying, "Note to self: never challenge a Jasmine for us unless you're ready to lose." The post racked up thousands of likes and shares, only further cementing the night's status as an iconic moment in pop culture. Meanwhile, Jasmine remained characteristically humble, thanking Jimmy and the audience for a wonderful evening and expressing gratitude for the chance to connect in such a genuine way. In the days that followed, Jasmine's team reported a massive surge in support and visibility. Donations to her campaigns increased, and her following across platforms grew exponentially. Interviews flooded in from other talk shows, podcasts, and news programs, all eager to hear more from the woman who had managed to stun Jimmy Kimmel into speechlessness. Jasmine, however, remained focused on her work, using her newfound platform not just for personal gain but to amplify the causes she cared about most. She made appearances discussing voting rights, education reform, and criminal justice, reminding everyone that behind the viral moment was a deeply committed public servant. Fans praised her ability to blend substance with style, noting that her humor never overshadowed her message, it only made it more powerful. Commentators agreed that Jasmine had set a new standard for political figures engaging with popular culture, honest, sharp, and unapologetically herself. Critics who had once dismissed Jasmine as too brash were now re-evaluating their opinions. Her live performance on Kimmel's show demonstrated not only her quick wit but her ability to command respect across diverse audiences. Analysts discussed how rare it was for politicians to genuinely connect with late-night audiences without seeming rehearsed or inauthentic. Jasmine's performance was proof that honesty and humor could coexist, and when they did, they could be a potent force. Think pieces emerged praising her as a new kind of political figure, one who didn't pander, didn't hide behind polished slogans, but who faced every challenge with her mind sharp and her head held high. She wasn't afraid to call out nonsense when she saw it, but she did so with such charm that even her targets couldn't help but laugh along. It was a masterful balancing act, and it left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. Meanwhile, fans continued to share and remix the now famous clips. Edits showed Jasmine's comebacks paired with triumphant music, slow-motion reactions of the audience gasping, and even mock training videos on how to win a debate with style. Memes flourished, with images of Jimmy mock surrendering to Jasmine's verbal jabs going viral. Some fans even started joking petitions for Jasmine to host her own talk show, praising her natural charisma and quick humor. Though she laughed off the idea, saying she had more important work to focus on, it was clear that she had struck a chord. In a world often dominated by manufactured moments and carefully curated images, Jasmine's authenticity was a breath of fresh air. Her appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live wasn't just entertainment, it was a reminder of the power of being unapologetically real, even in the most high-pressure environments. In the end, Jasmine Crockett's night on Jimmy Kimmel Live became more than just a viral sensation, it became a defining moment. She showed the world that intelligence, humor, authenticity, and strength weren't mutually exclusive, they were, in fact, her greatest weapons. As audiences around the world replayed the unforgettable comebacks and the stunned reactions, one thing became crystal clear: Jasmine Crockett wasn't just another politician trying to survive in the noise. She was a leader redefining the game on her own terms. And as she walked off that stage, head held high and laughter still echoing behind her, she left behind not just a room full of stunned admirers, but a blueprint for what true, fearless leadership could look like in the modern age.